Well, the Green Arrow campus is like the end of it's the end of the rainbow, but the beginning of another rainbow. So, for me, I started off very much. I was a teaching artist, and I just started, and I wanted to focus on youth. And there was something called Gallery 37 here. That was actually my first job out of art school here in Chicago. Teach as a teaching young teaching artist. So I just applied to that program, but included an urban ag component and started doing national grant writing to support growing power and really as a bridge to open the Chicago office, which took me about a year. And I was learning and understanding what the trajectory could be, and it just kept building and building and building. So fee for service, so being able to get funded to build a garden, and then using that as revenue, mission aligned revenue, to hire and keep building staff, but also training folks. So having to like both train, innovate, and then provide services kind of simultaneously, to accelerate and catch up, but also to get more and more kind of outreach and take this material and be able to put it on a broken, concrete on a parking lot and grow a farm within a season. Like being able to do that and explain how that's done, when it hadn't really been done before, was a lot of the work. And that demonstration and efficacy over and over again, and having people evolve and see and involve and become more involved, to see it everywhere, and then to really challenge sort of the status quo of what was then acceptable, which was fine, right? Like it was fine. It was fine to have a 3 by 4 foot box outside of a school classroom. Beautiful, important work, but that's not going to feed a community when you have a 9/11 incident and you realize the entire food security system is broken. At that time, there was 7 days of food, that if there was a breakdown for a city like Chicago, which still like third largest in something or another. I should know all these stats, but I can't keep them in my head. But just the idea of that, like not even quality of food, not even like vegan versus omnivore ethic, like we're not even talking about that. Just like there's an emergency, people got to eat. And that really drove me. So I think so. Since then, we've come a long way. There's an entire ecosystem. There's work that we may have like started, but really has evolved, and people have specialized. And that took a combination of lots of sweat equity, lots of extra time to prove, lots of um, real clever kind of stacking of resources to sort of patch together enough funding to pay us ourselves as we were building this out, and to build a sector, and also to sort of shift the understanding and like of anti-racism work and anti-oppression and the connection with food apartheid as opposed to food deserts, to really kind of continue building the understanding that these systems are not accidental, and that often, if people will adapt to what is available, and to be able to expand those realities, right, to like here's other options, and also to integrate that within early childhood development, to be able to work with policymakers who are concerned about public health, and the ability for all of us to be able to flourish. Like all of those things are possible if we have models that we can see and build on. And I think the work has been very successful in that. Green Era is sort of the next sort of iteration, because we're also including the complexity of energy, creating energy out of food waste, and creating a form of renewable natural gas, which is just methane that is emitted when you break down food waste, or in our bodies. When we eat food and we pass gas, that's methane. So understanding the technology that's really has always been available, but it hasn't been prioritized. And as often, like our work, I have to kind of deal with a little bit of false propaganda, because the kind of anaerobic digestion, which just means breaking down food waste within a contained environment to be able to grow more food, only food waste only, but we deal with all the food waste. So the bones, everything, because in nature, when things break down, it is a combination of everything. So it's not like the compost in the soil is not vegan.
Right.
What we pull from that and what we choose to nourish ourselves with is and can be and should be, right? Like that would be paradise. Um, so being able to think and understand that, and to be able to harness that energy to create fertility, which is just that food waste broken down, methane captured. So then we have a renewable form of natural gas, and we're capturing that methane before it hits the environment, the atmosphere, which is the biggest contributor to greenhouse gases and climate change, something within our grasp, and it solves like 10 problems. So I'm able to keep that food waste local. I'm able to break it down. I'm able to then take take the byproducts, make new things, uh, fuel 3,000 households, and also grow more food. And to be able to do that within an ecosystem is a circular economy. And so I can add more and more complexity to that as it develops because there's a revenue center that's profitable, that's not exploiting from people or and the environment, and creates a new paradigm because we have the consciousness of both knowing that we need to enter the marketplace profitably, but without exploiting people or the environment and bringing everybody along with us, which I've been very successful in doing over the years. Challenging, challenging, but successful, with manifesting these ideas. And so Green Era really is that confluence of not-for-profit work, social enterprise work, and for-profit work within the same physical footprint. And when we're able to see those things operating individually, but in tandem, we're able to look at how we can model other systems within our society to do the same thing. And that's super exciting. And for young people and elders to come together and share respect where we all are in our cycle of life is also a reflection of that circularity. So young people being able to get mentored by their elders, learning about recipes, learning, oh, this is how we used to do it in a respectful coexistence. That's also peacekeeping. So we're able to do this because we had so many years of problem solving, because it wasn't here's a bunch of funding, go ahead and do it, because there were other entities that had that privilege. I did not, and my kind of like generation of folks doing this work did not, but we did have the benefit of the civil rights movement, the benefit of, the Black Panthers with, breakfast, free breakfast, all of these things that have always been around from all kinds of social movement, the Quaker movement, et cetera, to be able to care for community. We're just replicating those things in these times.